Okay. Okay. Um, Hi. This is a very spur of the moment thing because I am pissed, fellow viewers, fine viewers, if there are any viewers. Okay, so give me 1 second. I got text. Okay. Mm-hmm. Uh, hmm. uh, okay. Sorry. Oh, I haven't had cigarettes since 1. It was around my lunch break. I know that. Also, I took my beanie off, so my hair is all fucked up, and I'm fucking filthy still because of the work I was doing. So, yesterday I was telling you guys about what Chris did at at the field we were doing, where he would leave the blades on the entire time, full throttle on that mower. Oh boy! Oh, I'm giddy. I'm giddy. I can't wait. Can't wait to tell you. So, I'm going to ask you folks. I'm going to ask you once, and ABG wants to remind me that my fucking subscription's expired, even though it isn't. I paid an extra month. But I'm going to ask you, face to face, man to man, host to viewer, what do you think happened to that mower today? I I doubt you can answer. I doubt you can answer it correctly. Oh. Mm-mm. Oh. So I'm going to go through what happened. Chris didn't come in today. Good day. We start off good. Orlando, who carpools me, is coming with me and Josh because it's just me and Josh on the landscaping, and Orlando sweeps at noon. Burn 4 hours, then he works another 4 hours sweeping, goes home, so he gets his full 8 hours for the day. We go out into the middle of fucking well, first we drop Haitian off at the park because we have to finish mowing the park. We load up the 2 mowers. Everything we did everything yesterday without crit. Today it took us 10 minutes to load everything up to that fucking that 1 ton and the trailer. We get right out of that shop at 7, around 7:05, 7:10. We get to the spot where Haitian was picked up at because he didn't finish the park, gets dropped off. Then we drive to the middle of fucking nowhere. I get to sit in the crew cab because Orlando is driving his crew cab. Well, the company crew cab, but it's technically his right now because he's been using it for almost a year. It's basically just a regular pickup. It's a regular Chevy pickup. It's got AC, which that was a good thing. But I hopped in there with him. All the tools were in the back of that. The 1 ton had the trailer with the other mower, the mower Chris was using, the one that we now have to use the wire again, and the barrels and the small mower, the push mower. And the gas. That was all that was on that 1 ton. So we drive to the middle of nowhere, and it took us about 45 minutes from the park to get to this place. It's the only place that we do out there. And I'd say a third to a half of that lawn is nothing but sand with weeds growing out of it. So I asked Josh, what do you want me to do? Hedge all of this, hedge that big bush over there in the corner, then go in the back, and you know what? Nothing in the back for you to do for the hedges. So just these 4 bushes in the front of the house, and then that big fucker right there. And then you can just, I don't know, weed whack. So about an hour, hour and a half goes by. I finish weed whacking everything in the front, finished all the hedging, raked up all the piles with Orlando. Orlando weeded the flower beds. And Orlando is now going into that big bush, and he's going to start pruning all the dead branches, because I told him, hey, I can't really do a whole lot with this. It's just dead. So he's like, all right, I'll just have Orlando prune it. And Josh mowed. Now, I'd say about 20 minutes go by. 20 minutes. It's like it's going on 9 o'clock in the morning. I'm weed whacking the patio. And I hear a bang, like a fucking shotgun blast behind me. I turn around, and I see Josh backing up as fast as he can while smoke is bellowing out of the lawnmower. She caught fire because she blew. The valves, I checked her. Oh, trust me, I was the one that checked her. I was the only one ballsy enough to and with a death wish to do it. She caught fire. The muffler was blowing fucking smoke and flames out. The blades sounded hellish. It sounded like the fucking mower was possessed. That's how fast they were going. I've never heard those blades move that fast. I honestly thought one of them might go through the fucking steel cage basket that envelops them. That's how fast they were moving. So Josh yells out fire. I drop the weed whacker, grab a 5-gallon bucket out of the back of the crew cab, run over to the hose, fill it up, I'd say about halfway, 3/4 of the way with water, rush over and douse the fucking thing. He ran over, turned the fucking mower off, and that was it. And we sat there and just looked in fucking utter amazement. Then Josh looked at me and said, "Did you check the oil on this?" I was like, "Yeah, I always check it in the morning. That's protocol. We check it. Saturday, you fill it." He's like, "How high was it?" I was like, "Just, I'd say a cunt hair shy of the fucking fill line." I mean, you filled it up when we picked up Chris at the end of the day, because he was the only one. Yesterday, we didn't mow Monday or Tuesday. That mower sat in the shop till fucking yesterday. He's like, "Huh? Didn't you tell me he was running the blades nonstop?" I was like, "And on 4th gear, full throttle, idling." He's like, "Well, I don't know what's wrong with it." And I was like, "I know what's wrong with it. The fucking engine blew." And I was like, "Watch. Bet you $5 I'll find a blown valve or something inside there." Because the oil was what caused the fire. He's like, "Nah, I don't think so." And I was like, "You take that dipstick out, it's going to be empty." He unscrews the fucking cap, pulls it out. Fucking dipstick's not even reading heat. Because I have the rag. It's fucking covered in rust because I had to fucking wipe fucking rust and burnt fucking grass and shit off of it. But I used that fucking oil rag to clean the fucking dipstick, and I was like, "Try it again." He does it again, and it's fucking bone dry. I was like, Chris was running it all fucking day, full throttle, fourth gear, idling it. Blades were in motion. She ran hot. Those fucking those machines on a cold morning. I mean, like, say around 55, 50 degrees out. They are fucking hot as fuck. It took, I'd say, to cool it off, to cool the motor so that I could use gloves to start tinkering with it and opening up the fucking plastic case, which started to melt before the fire, because there was no fire on the fucking top of the fucking thing. It took about 3 full 5-gallon buckets of water to cool her. That's how hot she was. It was bad. She was real fucking bad. So I opened up the top, looked inside, blown valve. The valve melted. So that's I think it's a $2,300 motor. It's going to cost It's going to cost Donald $2,300 to replace that, and that's the same mower that the clutch was blown out by Chris. Chris broke the fucking button on it, which is why we have to use the wire now. And he broke the wire, by the way, because right when Josh started mowing, the fucking one of the connectors snapped. Because when Chris tried fucking pulling it, you're supposed to hold it. Basically, there's 2 little metal prongs on either end, and there's a little plastic cap that holds it to the wire. You're supposed to hold the plastic cap where the tong is and then pull. Chris just kept grabbing it from the fucking base of the wire where the bend was. So he had a good 2 inches, and he just kept yanking it and yanking it. Copper is a very soft metal. Doesn't take much to fuck up copper wiring. Snapped it. So that $600 clutch is now just sitting in a dead fucking machine. We all 3 of us had to push it and get it back onto the trailer. It's going to cost $2,300 to replace the motor. We don't even know if it's going to be replaced. And when it was brought back to the shop, Josh just started scrapping her. He took the pulley system out of her, which gets the blades going. He took the pulley system out of that and the plunger system for the button that doesn't work anymore. He just pulled those 2 out and he put them into the fucking death machine, the one where the blades do not stop running. And so, yeah. Fucking engine blew up. And we didn't have any way to mow the rest of the lawns we had to do. We had we had to do 6 lawns today. We only got 1 done. And fucking mowing it. When fucking Christ, man. Chris didn't come in to pick his check today. So I don't know if he'll be coming in tomorrow. And yeah, I don't know what the fuck is going to happen. Donald is going to Baltimore with a load on a tractor trailer. He's going to Baltimore with tires. Then he's going to drive from Baltimore to North Carolina with piping, and then he's going to go to from North Carolina back here to the Mass with another tractor trailer load, drop that off, and then he'll be back. It's going to take him 5 days. Scott you know, the guy I want to take over the business, has fired Chris twice. I can honestly see, because Scott's going to be the one running the business for the next 5 days, and shit gets done when Scott's running the fucking show. I can honestly see Scott looking at fucking Chris tomorrow morning, if he comes in, and telling him, get the fuck out. You fucking destroyed one of the mowers. One of the good mowers, in fact. We have 3 mowers. One of them was broken. It's now been fixed, which is the death machine. And that one's still technically broken because you can't disengage the blades. We have the John Deere one, which is green, we just call it the green one. That one's kind of fucked up because Chris and Haitian used it. And the red one, the death machine and this one are the red ones, but we just call that one the red one and the other one the death machine. So now, technically, 2 of them are out of commission, 1 of them works. So I don't know what the fuck we're gonna do. Exactly. Just this season alone, Sten, he's cost $600 for the clutch, $2,300 for the engine. It's $2,900 in fucking damages just on one mower. The button is just a plastic button that you just keep pushing. He snapped that. That's like a $5 thing. It's just a bitch because you have to order it. So, plus the order for the new button to replace the one that Chris broke just came in, and Donald had to call it off. So he had to pay like some kind of fee for it canceling it the day it was going to be fucking delivered to the shop, or he could have picked it up. I forget which, but he has to pay a fucking collector's fee and and he ordered the pulley system and the button shit that has been taken off the red one and put one on the death machine. He had ordered fucking parts to be put on the death machine, so we'd have the 3 mowers running. Had to cancel that because his son Scott fucking gutted the fucking red one and put him in the death machine. And those are not cheap. So, thanks, Chris. Thank you, Chris. Also, on a lighter note, happy summer sale. Bought me a couple goodies. Oh, did I buy me a couple goodies? I got oh fuck, what did I buy? I forgot. Hearts of Iron 4. Off-World Trading Company. I think it was Off-World. Let me check Steam for a second. Also, for some reason, Steam is going wonky because of how many people are buying shit, because I couldn't go through my queue earlier. So let me go to my library. Games. Hearts of Iron 4, Off-World Trading Company, The Wild 8, and Domina. Domina is a like pixelated gladiator game. Basically, it's an RPG sort of thing. Basically, you have gladiators, you buy them, and you can sell them, I believe, and you train them up to be like these badasses. So on that one, I got Hearts of Iron 4. I like Axis and Allies, so I got that. I've been wanting to get that for almost a year now. Off-World Trading Company. So that's a strategy game, and it's set on Mars, I believe, which is interesting. So I got that, and then the Wild 8. Oh, the Wild 8. It's a like top-down survivalist game. It's like the Long Dark, but top-down instead of first person. Oh, I've been checking my Steam fucking wish list being like which ones are on sale. I have a few things still on my wish list that I didn't get because I don't really think I'll be playing them that often. But those 4 games, I know I'm gonna fucking dump a lot of time. Dawn of War 3, not gonna buy it because it's just meh. The community's dead. I'm waiting for Endless Space 2 to go on sale. Oxygen not included. Life is Futile. The Forest is on sale. Darkest Dungeon's on sale. First Strike Final Hour is not on sale. It was a while ago for like $3, so like a $12 game, but I didn't feel like buying it. Oh, hi, Frank. Yes, I've been seeing you grinding your perks. You've been a busy boy. So, let's see. I'm actually going to install those games, too, because I have plenty of goddamn space for them. So, let's see. Probably the quickest one to install right now is Dumb Enough. Yeah, it's only 266 megabytes. Okay. Next. Also, Arctolad went good. Stan, by the way. I'm in Milmana. I was grinding after you left. I grinded for a little bit. I think we're all level. I think Ark and Kukru are like level 9, and Poco is 8, going on 9. I'm gonna probably get them to level 10 before I go to Yoki to meet with the Forest Spirit. Because then we're gonna have to go to. Then we're gonna have to get. Like, that's the insane thing. I'm already a 1/6 of the way to cap in like an hour's time in game. That is. Arc the Lad is way too fucking short. The first one is like I think if you don't do like the 50-floor dungeon and go through all the esoteric bullshit to get like the silk belt and shit, it's like a 10-hour game. And then thank God I wasn't in Japan to play that because apparently they had to wait like 6 months to a year for Arc the Lad 2 to come out. And that's the one that has like I think it's 70 hours. Just playing the story. 70 hours. That's a pretty damn good fucking thing for a tactical RPG. I would say with all of the side quests, like the hunter missions, all the dungeons to get the FX equipment, and all the other little fucking side missions or side quests you can do. The game's got at least 200 hours. At least 200 hours. Because some of those missions go on forever. Because they're fucking, like, random chance. I think one of them was, oh, fuck. I forgot what it was, but basically, like, the bounty hunting, the bounties. Those are a fucking random chance kind of thing. Because you have to keep going to the same fucking location and grinding and hoping that you find the fucking the bounty. I just wish you could cash in the bounty for the slasher. Makes sense that you'd be able to make money on that one, but it's plot centric, so. I remember my brother telling me, "Hey, Ark has a 1 million gil fucking bounty. Throw him under the bus." And it's like, yeah. Ark's my favorite character. One of my favorite characters, though. He's my favorite out of like the original lineup. Like, just Ark's badass. His armor's badass. His fucking weapons. His personality. Which reminds me, I have to update the thumbnail for that playthrough. Also, I'm going to be changing the title for those. I'm going to move those away from Ramblings of an Insane Man. Those are just going to be Arc the Lad playthroughs. That way I can make a playlist of them. The first one's kind of meh. The first one's gonna it's just gonna be Arc the Lad playthrough part 2 and onwards. I need that. Also, another thing that's annoying me. I don't know why this happens to me. I've told people that, like, because people be like, well, what's wrong? For some fucking reason, I don't know why, because I don't change, like, my personality doesn't change. It doesn't. I'm the same person that I'm always. Like, if I'm depressed, like, actually depressed, well, more than depressed, I should say, because my depression, like, I'm depressed right now, but when I'm, like, hit by a fucking brick wall of depression I can't handle, most people will be like, oh, wow. But that's usually, that's it. So, personality is not really, doesn't really change other than that. I'm the way I talk to you guys is the way I talk to everybody. When I am talking to somebody and there's a chance I'm going to ask that person out, or I want to date that person, or I just want that person, it seems like, I don't know, like, women just come out of the woodwork. I don't know, like, I can't, like, today, because it kind of gets in the way of work. We were doing a house next to a pizzeria. And it was me, Orlando had left because he had to go because Orlando had to go street sweeping. So Josh had to go pick up Haitian so that he could use his mower. So we had to cancel fucking mowing the rest of the park today. And so I was sitting there smoking a cigarette with Haitian on our break. And it was around noon, and we were sitting just across the street from the pizzeria. Two chicks asked me for my number. And I'm like, what? What? I don't know you first. First, I don't know you. So it's kind of weird that you want to ask for my number when you just saw me. That, like, I understand. Some people will be like, oh, fucking pussy. You're a fucking wimp. Didn't take their numbers. How would you feel if some random guy or some random chick walked in? Can I have your number? And you did not know that person. They just asked you for your number. You'd probably say no too. It's a random fucking stranger that just came up and was like, hey, I want your number. That's exactly what they said. I want your number. And, like, I don't know. I don't know if it's a pheromonal thing because I smell like a wildebeest right now. Like, I was dripping head to toe in sweat. I didn't have my tank top on. Like, my pants are covered in rust, dirt, and fucking muck because of fucking having to, like, huddle down under the fucking mower to see what was wrong with it. And, like, I'm just filthy from fucking doing all... oh, hey, Steam has finished downloading Domino. So, like, I don't know. Like, I smelt awful. I'm covered in filth, and yet, like, they randomly asked me for my number. And I was like, nah. And they're like, okay, well, if you're ever in the area and I see you, can we, like, you know, trade numbers? And I was like, depends if I'm around here at the same time you are. And they're like, okay, bye. I'm like, yep. And Haitian just laughed because of my reaction. And he's like, you should have took their numbers. And I was like, no, I'm not going to take their fucking numbers because I'm not going to respond to them. Like, I want to date somebody. I'm working on dating that person. In fact, I have to find a fucking. I have to. I'm going out for coffee one day with him. He's like, oh, okay. Well, that makes sense. I was like, yeah, it does make fucking sensation. Oh, that's going to be the good picture for the XLIV 2 thumbnails. Where's my art? I know I have a picture of the XLIV title. There. No, that's XLIV 2. That's the King of Dragons one. I should put that as the thumbnails for my King of Dragons playthrough. Where the fuck is it? I really fucking hate when I can't find the fucking pictures. Give me 1 second because I can't see the chat because I got the fucking file upload window open. Wow, I can't find it. I am surprised. That is like I've always had the picture to the like the first XLIV and the second XLIV game. Maybe it's in my Dungeons and Dragons folder. Well, there's Ark from XLIV, a picture of him. Maybe it's in D20. Come on. It's got to be somewhere. There's XLIV 3 in the D20 folder. Okay. Come on. Don't tell me I gotta look for. Don't tell me I have to grab it off of fucking Google Images again. Yep. Fucking gotta grab it off of Google fucking Images, folks. Let me finish my cig. I haven't, like I said, I haven't had cigarettes since fucking 1. So. Let me open up the chat. Apparently, the Humble Store has the original Killing Floor for free. Oh. The only numbers I'm interested in now are the winning lottery numbers. There is a channel called fucking Today I Found Out. It's a badass channel. Basically, Today I Found Out just brings up like one random fact of the day. And so one of them was the lottery and how that affects people. Apparently, a lot of fucking bad shit happens to you once you get that. Some people just piss through their money, just giving it out to friends and family members, and then they never get their money back. They'll invest in something, or they'll buy a house that they cannot feasibly afford with their earnings, and that fucks up. So, like, I think it was like 90, at least 90% or whatever. I forget the number, but like basically a vast majority of the people who win the lottery are bankrupt or broke in a year's time. So like whenever I am talking about the lottery and wanting to win, I'm kind of hoping I don't. I've never really done, like, I don't do scratch tickets or anything like that, and I've only once done the lottery. And that was back when I was like 7 or 8. My father was like, "Hey, I got 4 of these Keno things. Put one in." Or I think, no, it was either Powerball. I think it was Powerball. He's like, "Oh, pick out some numbers." So I picked out some numbers. Didn't win. God damn it! They don't have a fucking. They do not have a copy or a picture big enough of the first XLIV title. Let's see if I can get a bigger one. The Wikipedia page one's at 256 by 256. Jesus. There's an Arthalad 3 picture and an Arthalad 2. Fine, I'll just grab the title card then from the fucking thing. Ay, ay, ay. Give me another second, folks, because I get it saving and fucking Firefox is fucking up. Okay, go here, upload image. I just saved the fucking image. Where the fuck is it? Telling you. Let's see. Me, I'd pay the taxes off first off. Then I would just put all of it, put it all in treasury bonds or CDs and stagger them. So I basically just live off the returns, but I don't participate anyway because I know the odds are against me. Pretty much. The plan I've always had when it comes to the earnings, if I ever hit the lottery numbers exact and I just won the full fucking bonus, the first thing I would do is exactly what you said: pay off the taxes, pay off the taxes, pay off any debts I have. Okay, so okay. I'm just gonna have to ask. I'm gonna ask Tech to help me out. So once I pay off all my debts, like I have a $1,300. So here's the thing: the reason why I have not been getting any responses from any of the fucking from 2 out of the dozen fucking apartment places I filed for. Apparently, I have a $1,300 debt, medical debt, which is from my brother. I think the $4,000 one has been dropped because I've been talking to the fucking lawyer that I'm probably gonna have to lawyer up with. He's been able to talk to, I believe, a judge, and because of common sense, my blood type does not match the blood type on that. They've been able to remove that, but the credit, I guess, the debt collectors are refusing to drop the $1,300 one. So that's dropped my credit score below, I guess, what those applications would allow. So I would pay off something like that. The next thing I would do, buy a house. Just buy a house flat. Because if I buy the house right off the market for its set amount, all I have to do is pay taxes on the land. That's it. I would buy my old house in a heartbeat, and the rest of the money in the fucking bank. Wouldn't maybe I'd buy a junky car, like a junk car that's like cheap, like I say a junker, but it wouldn't be like something I'd have to fucking drop like $5,000 into fixing. Just be something that gets me to A to B without breaking down. Install the Wild 8. That's 1656. Yeah. And yeah, that's about it. Probably have it like the money taken out electronically from the. That's another rag I have that I gotta wash. But basically, I just have like my utilities bills pulled out of my bank account, shit like that. And yeah, that's it. That's practically it. Nothing else would be spent on that. Maybe like just common sense shit, probably, maybe. I'd still be working the job I'm working, and that'd probably be the thing that would be paying, like the groceries, gas money, cigarettes, shit like that. I agree in its entirety to allow, Hearts of Iron 4 to install. Let's see. I'm honestly not sure what to talk about. I'm actually surprised. I'd probably do the chainmail to keep a quote job of sorts. That would work. Like I've said multiple times, my family's blacksmith shop from, oh Christ, 1690s to like early 1700s that was used until, oh fuck. I think that blacksmith, so the blacksmith shop used to be near the mill that we owned. We owned a mill, and it's right next to one of the main bridges in town. That mill was the workforce for everything. The blacksmith shop was across the river from it. That had two stables so they could shoe horses. It had all the shit. It had two blast furnaces, 3 anvils, 2 heavy duty fucking like 200-pound ones, and then 1 like minor one to like make nails, like all the little like nails, hinges, that sort of shit. It was like the fine-tuning craftsman's anvil. All the tools, those are all still kept in immaculate condition from the time that it was donated, which was, I believe, I want to say 1920s. I think it was the 1920s when my family's blacksmith shop was obsolete here in town, and so we donated it as a historical thing. I wouldn't even say donated. It's being borrowed. Kind of like how Bilbo allowed the Shire's museum to borrow his like mithril chain shirt, sting, and all of the knickknacks and doodads he had gathered along his journey in The Hobbit. I could walk to the Historical Society right now and be like, I want my family's blacksmith shop back. Like, they literally just took the whole fucking building and moved it. Everything is still there. Brand new. I could take everything, plop it somewhere on like my family's property, or if I owned property and I had a big enough field, I could plop it right down and bam, I could just start fucking forging swords. Which I've been like, I'm not sure if I brought it up to you, Frank, but I was like, hey, I have a blacksmith shop. Frank does chainmail. Me and him could open up a fucking thing and we could do it all hand forged. I make the swords and the like. Also, it has like presses and shit, so you could actually make the actual chain that you use or the gauge of wire. Because we used to do This is how old this fucking thing is. They used to make hand-forged barbed wire for all the farming stuff. So if somebody had like a little farm with some cattle, and they're like, we need some wire for our fences, or we need some barbed wire, family fucking did it. That's how old my family is. I mean, Christ, I still have the fucking family book sitting over there, and that's falling apart. Yeah. Plus, here's something cool, and a lot of people will call you a hillbilly or a bum for doing this. Railroad spikes. Like people, like when the state works on a railroad line, they just throw the fucking railroad spikes they don't need right onto the side of the tracks. There's at least a ton, well over a ton of scrap metal at all times sitting on a railroad track. You don't know how many people will go and just take it. It's illegal, mind you, if you don't have permission from the state to just take it. Like 1 or 2 railroad spikes isn't going to be a big deal, but if you're taking like a ton worth of grade 1 steel from the state's property and then driving that to a fucking like oh Christ, I forget the name of the fucking thing. Scrap metal yard, so you can sell it for scrap, that's when it becomes a fucking problem. I've seen, you don't know how many Etsy fucking things. Yeah, I think it's Etsy. Like people make hand forged fucking knives and cutlery out of railroad spikes. It's literally a fucking block of steel. So if I had my blacksmith's forge, I could throw probably 12 of those fucking things into it, get them super fucking hot, and just stretch them out. I could just draw wire right out of it. It'd take a little while to get the block of the spike itself to go from a spike to the fucking wire, but it'd be easy once it's fucking heated enough. I could literally forge a sword out of it. Exactly. Yeah. Basically, they won't enforce it unless there's money. So if like, oh Christ, I remember one time walking the tracks, not because I was going for scrap metal or anything. I was just walking the tracks. It's peaceful. It cuts right through some of the most idyllic parts of Mass. So I was just, it basically was a hiking trip. And I just saw 3 or 4 brand new railroad spikes, and they were the most brand new I've never seen a railroad spike that brand new. It was like they had just been forged right at the foundry. So I grabbed them, threw them into my backpack, and just kept walking. That was it. I forgot what I used them for. I think I used them for the railroad ties we had in our garden, because that was what made the patio, lined out the patio, was railroad ties. Another thing you can grab. But one of my brother's friends, who was a junkie, had a 1-ton that his father used, I think, for tree jobs. He took that, went down to the tracks one evening with a bunch of his friends, just started hurling bucket after bucket, whole milk crates. He had all of them just going up and down the fucking railroad tracks like 100 yards, and they got about 3 tons worth of fucking railroad spikes, the plates that hold the rails themselves, and whole fucking chunks of rail that they had just thrown off to the side. So he threw that onto the back. As soon as he got to the railroad crossings to go back onto the road, cop was sitting there. He was fined, I think, $6,800. But if he had gone to the scrap yard and scrapped it, like 3 tons of scrap of grade A, grade 1 steel or number 1 steel, oh Christ, I don't even know how much. Let me check. One steel price per ton. Currently, what is the, okay. What is the price of scrap metal per ton? Sheet iron is $90 per ton. Unprepared is $65, and prepared is $100. So it's been a long time since I've actually had to go to a fucking scrap yard. But I think prepared. Christ, yeah, I can't remember. Let's look it up because I have Google. Prepared metal. Difference between prepared and unprepared. Load it up, please. Okay, 4 feet or less is prepared. Larger than that, larger than that is unprepared. So $100 per ton. So they would have made $300 with all of that scrap metal. All right, Frank. Steam has finished downloading the Wild 8. And let me go to downloads. Ready to play, ready to play. Awesome. So that's awesome. About 20 minutes for Hearts of Iron 4 to download and install. Off-World Trading Company. Who has Off-World Trading Company? You all friends who play this game. It might be Frank that has it. Yeah, Frank has it. 5.2 hours. Dan has it in his library, but he has not played it yet. So I'm not sure if it's a multiplayer game or not. I didn't really check if it's a multiplayer game. No. Oh boy. Okay, yeah. All right. I have all. Now I changed from fucking earlier. Come on. Oh, that's right. Totally forgot the rest of my day. Totally forgot the rest of the fucking day. And that's for the receipt for the fucking shit. So, after we finish that house across from the pizzeria, Darth, like with the thing with your family, quote, donating the blacksmith shop. Yes? You have Off-World Trading Company. It's in your library, but you haven't played it yet, it says. Because Frank's played 5.2 hours, but it just says you have it in your thing. I think it was my great-grandfather or my grandfather. He, quote, donated a few things to the train museum in Bangor, Maine. Oh, well, that's pretty neat. See, like that's. I was actually I was asked last night why I don't want to move away from here. While my family does have a shit name here in New England, just New England, Massachusetts alone, but New England as a whole, my family has done a lot. My family has always lived in Massachusetts. My grandfather's side of the family has always lived in Pennsylvania. My grandfather actually moved from Pennsylvania to live with the rest of his family up here. But yeah, like my family has fought on this soil. they died in the Revolutionary War. We have a plaque commemorating 3 of my ancestors for one of the battles they participated in. That book I have goes through whole fucking historical things. My family has a children's rhyme. That's how old we are. We've been in this. We have been. Hang on. I'll just grab the fucking book. This is a dusty fucking tome because she's over 100 years old. We're close to it. Like, that's how old she is. Wow. This, my friends, is a newspaper clipping from 1984, January 18th, 1985. Let's look at the ads. Wow. Baked fish parmesan, filet of sole, Nantucket baked fish, southern fried chicken with cranberry sauce, chopped broiled sirloin, or roast tender ham with raisin sauce. Your choice. Full course, $4.95. Thursday only, twin boiled lobsters, full course meal, $8.95. Oh, the Pasta House. That's still up. This one doesn't have a date. Hugh Carey, it was the New York governor. That's on the back right here for that one. So I don't know how it is. Josiah. That's my grandfather's notes. More of my grandfather's notes. Okay, right here. Legend says Louis, my ancestor, was born in Paris, France, and was a young officer in the army, age 19. One morning, while walking in the garden, he saw his new stepmother punishing his little sister, and becoming enraged, pulled out his sword and knocked her bonnet off. To escape a worse punishment, he was put on board a warship of which Francis Crapo was captain. This vessel was wrecked off the shore of Cape Cod, and 4 men and the boy, Peter Crapo, were saved in a boat to have landed at Plymouth, Mass. The boy, Peter Crapo, about 12 years of age, was bound out by his brother, the captain, to Francis Coombs of Middleborough. No date is given of their coming, but it was probably before 1700. A rhyme of the men's names I have heard repeated by descendants of the 5 families is listed here. Peter bought land in Rochester, Mass. as early as 1703 and was married in 1704. At the time of this marriage, Louis is said to make a vow that he would not marry until he could marry a daughter, which in 1730 he did, and is said to have had 13 children, of several of which I find no mention. It is said that while waiting for his future wife to grow up, that he cleared up an exceedingly nice farm for those days and built thereon a wall so wide that a yoke of oxen could be driven on top thereof. A portion of this wall is shown today on the old homestead near Brayley Station in Dartmouth. It is said that also that Louis named his first Chaumont after the Duke of Chaumont. An old pewter porringer said to belong to Louis is yet shown as and is in the hands of a descendant, Mrs. Abby J. Brooks. A deed dated 1773 refers to Louis as lately deceased, and while we do not know how old he was at his death, yet if our legend is true, he must have been more than 100 years old, and it has been claimed 110. The family has been noted for its longevity, also for its musical and inventive ability. It is not known how much truth there is to this legend, but we do know that the men mentioned in the rhyme and the boy Peter were all in the town of Rochester and married before 1735, and therefore could not have been of the Arcadians, who were not driven out until after 1740, as has been alleged. The spelling of the name has differed among many branches and often in the same family. I find it with an with an A-O-E, no D-E. And the variants for that are an A and an O, and one without a without the D-E-M-O. I have made no attempt to show which each one uses, as I only use first and middle names in the following pages. And that was dated from my grandfather, January 1922. And then my grandfather's name, no, my great-grandmother's name, dated 1929. And then my grandfather's signature, 1956. And as you can see, that's the title page. Let's see. Yep. And then the rest of it goes on and on. There's some pages in the back that are blank. Oh, because that's how fucking old this tome is. The fucking binding doesn't even fucking hold it. All my grandfather... I don't even think you guys can see it. Hang on, let me see where my camera is. Let me move that down. Nope. Do not fall off. There you go. My grandfather's scribblings. He was noting down everything. We have years 1287. 1521 AD, we have more family names. 1521, 1519, 1520, 1522, 1530. And sadly, my grandfather had chicken writing, so I cannot for the life of me fucking see half of it. Then I have my great-grandfather's stuff. He was writing stuff from 1920. He has signatures of when he did this, when he wrote down family names, 1925, 1927, 1929. Then there's different branches that tie into other family names, and that's a whole fucking... I'm going through it right now. Yeah. But basically, my grandfather handed it down to me because it's my legacy, I guess. So, because my father didn't want anything to do with it. So let me put that back in the way it's supposed to be. And put all these notes and fucking newspaper clippings back. But yeah, like, my family has a lot of history in it. It's one of the few things I can be proud of. Like, people can mock me all they want and go, oh, well, you're just a fucking hillbilly or you're just a fucking bum. Maybe, but can you follow your family's genealogy till, like I said, 1520, 12 to the 12th, the 13th century? My ancestor that came to America is of noble blood. I mean, I've joked about that. I go to France and I'm like, I want my family's land. God damn it. Exactly. Those meals would have been like, oh Christ, lobster now is back to its normal price, so it'd probably be like an $18, $20 fucking meal. Christ, going to get faux lobster at a McDonald's is like $12. But like, I can follow, like yeah, I'm a bum. You can call me that all you want. You can call me a fucking hillbilly. My family has done far much more good in this world and for this country than your family has. Case in point, the fact that we fought for the fucking revolution. We fought for Massachusetts independence. And technically Rhode Island, because back then Rhode Island and Massachusetts didn't have their borders drawn up properly. That fucking has lists of when I've had family members die in the Revolutionary War, the War of 1812. I believe the 7 Years' War. World War I. I actually, I don't think I've actually shown, I may have shown the picture at one point or another. And I got fucking all kinds of fucking clippings and shit stuck in it. But yeah, a lot of fucking clippings that fall in my phone. So I'm gonna have to clean my wallet out. And let me turn the light on. Okay, so yeah, this is faded beyond fucking recognition, but I believe I know what date that is. I know the date for this fucker. This is my Uncle Myron. He is standing next to a paraglider preparing to go to Normandy. I was going to talk about him on the anniversary of D-Day. He fought in World War I and II. He, if I remember correctly from what my grandfather told him, because he met him twice in his life, he stood about 6'6". He was a mason. He was a stonemason before the war. Both. Now this may just be my grandfather, because my grandfather only saw him when he was young. So I think my grandfather was like 10 at the time. He said that his hands were big enough so that he could practically just hold a basketball. And when he went to basic training in, I believe it was World War I, he had an asshole sergeant, drill sergeant, and he was mocking everybody because they couldn't apparently do a good handshake. And so he told my Uncle Myron to give him a handshake. And he just gave him a normal handshake. And the sergeant was like, no, a handshake. And so he started squeezing my uncle's hand. And so my great uncle was like, oh, you want a real handshake? He squeezed his hand and broke the sergeant's fucking hand. Also, my uncle in World War II, when he was, because he paraglided in, or he just jumped out. No, my Uncle Wilfred is the one that was dropped out. He was, I believe my Uncle Wilfred was in the 101st Airborne when they were being dropped over Normandy and behind enemy lines. But my Uncle Myron was shot in the chest twice. He was sent back to England, and they were going to send him back to the U.S. because he had been severely injured. He was shot twice. I think it was right here. Basically, both shots punctured his lung. He said, no, send me back in. So he fought. After he was shot, then he fought again. He was shot once in the stomach, and he took a grenade, a frag grenade. So he got hit. I forgot if it was his left or right side, but he got hit on either his left or right side by a vast amount of the fragmentation grenade. And he was sent back, and then he demanded to be sent back in, and he fought until they fucking got to the German lines, or into Germany. My Uncle Wilfred was dropped over Normandy during the invasion. He was shot twice or three times parachuting down. He asked to be sent back in. I have family on my grandmother's side who died storming the beaches of Omaha. I had family fighting on my grandfather's and grandmother's side, fighting in the Pacific. I know I have I know I don't have their names. I can't remember like the names my grandfather told me, but I apparently have like 7 or 8 cousins who fought and died in World War I on his side alone. I don't believe most, like my grandmother's side of the family is farmers, so they kind of get they have to enlist. They can't be drafted because they're farmers. But I do know that a vast amount of her uncles, and like second cousins and first cousins died on the beaches, along with Japan, fighting in against the Japanese and stuff. And then my Uncle Jim, and let me see the camera so I know that you guys can see it. My Uncle Jim fought in Korea alongside with my grandfather. Now, my Uncle Jim here, and I believe it's my Uncle Jim, I can't see because I don't even think you guys can see. You guys can probably faintly see it. It was done in pencil. I know this was taken before he was put on a fucking either a boat or a plane. Come on, camera. Okay, there we go. It's working somewhat. It might just be because Steam's installing it. Well, anyways, fucking wallet lint stuck on it. Goddamn. So basically, my Uncle Jim's picture here was taken when he was going to be shipped out. Now, what happened with him is kind of fucked up because he told. I've actually talked to him years and years ago. I don't even know if he's still alive or not. Because my grandmother, may she rest in peace, she talked to him all the time. He was probably the closest brother out of my grandfather's family. He got sent over, and he told me that North Korea was so cold they had to keep the military equipment running 24/7 because if you shut her off any motor, an hour later the frost would crack the engine block. That's how cold North Korea is. And he told me, you would think that Korea, the entire Korean peninsula is not that cold. You'd be like, it ain't that cold. It is that cold. When they would have to fix the engines and turn them off, they would have to start a fire underneath to keep them from fucking freezing up. He told me that he remembers North Koreans and Chinese, when the Chinese started pushing through North Korea to bolster the North Koreans. He remembers seeing Chinese and North Korean soldiers with instruments, clubs, sticks, anything they could grab, anything they could use, and were storming the lines. He remembers firing 20 millimeters, 30 cals, 50 cals, just firing and mowing them down. He told me in grisly detail about what happened to him. He was stationed on a hill. I can't remember the hill designation, but he was in a foxhole with his captain. And they started to be shelled by mortar fire. And he said the last thing I remember of that night was seeing a big white flash and a bang right in front of me where my captain was standing in the foxhole with me. And a mortar hit him directly and it completely disintegrated his captain. And the next day, when they were tallying up the dead and the lost casualties, they counted him, my uncle Jim, as a casualty because he was completely covered in his captain. He had shrapnel in his eyes and face and chest, and they brought him back. Okay, you can't see. Yeah, okay, so you can't see it. But he was brought back to a forward operations base, put in a medical tent, and they did as best they could to remove the shrapnel out of his eyes. And there were some pieces that were so far in they couldn't do it. They just couldn't. They just have to remove his eyes. And he said no. And they said, well, they're not fucking up any of the retina, like the retina itself or any of the nerve endings, but you will lose your sight. They are going to move further in, and once they do, they're going to finally reach one of those nerves and just sever it. And so he was fine with that. And so I think it was 20, 30 years after Korea, he lost his eyesight. My grandfather remembers, oh God. Yeah, my grandfather remembers him coming back, and they snapped a family photo with him, and because of the PTSD he had suffered from that attack, he dived under the table for shelter. One of my family members was a minesweeper in World War II in Belgium or France, and he had to take a piss, and he was on a bulldozer, and basically they had modified it so it had a giant wheel, I believe it was a hydraulic or gas-powered wheel with the hosing and stuff going onto the back. And basically what the front end of it did was, instead of scooping anything, it didn't have a bucket. It had a giant wheel or cylinder with chains hooked to it. And basically it would just spin and spin and spin, and the chains would just smash into the ground. And that would set off the mines. And basically the arms were far enough so it wouldn't damage the vehicle. And his fucking commanding officer told him, if you have to piss or shit, just piss or shit right over the, just sit on the fucking, on the lip. Do not get out of the fucking cab whatsoever. Well, my cousin was not going to fucking sit in a cab and piss in a cup or piss off the side or shit off the side. He had to go. So he drove the fucking thing, and he had driven it up a road probably 10 miles, hadn't hit a single mine yet. So he walked over to a tree and he fucking stepped on a landmine, and just it completely destroyed his left leg. It was barely holding on by the sinews and the tendons and ligaments. And he dragged himself back to the vehicle, didn't hit another one, mind you, did not set off another fucking mine, and he grabbed some of the barbed wire coil that he had mounted onto the side, and he wrapped his fucking leg in barbed wire to hold it together, and he dragged himself 3 miles down the road or 4 miles down the road and passed out. And so when they were turning, when I guess the commanding officer or a patrol was coming up to relieve him of his shift or his duty, they found him on the road and they brought him back. And he was never the same after that. Before the war, and my father remembers him because he lived a long fucking time, and he remembers my my Uncle Den and Aunt Barbara talking about him. He was a very down-to-earth, very laid-back, very peaceful person before going into the war. After the war, it was a completely different person came back. He was very temperamental, quick to anger, and very, very bizarre attitude. The first thing he did when he came back, he actually came back with it, was a 1941 WXL motorcycle. So one of the badass motorcycles I want, which is the Scout motorcycles that Harley had sent out for the U.S. troops. He had one, and he custom made it. He custom modified it to have a stick shift, because I believe the shifter to shift the gears was on the left pedal. His left leg he could not move his ankle to shift the gears, so he had a shifter added onto the fucking thing. And he had a 1911 M1911 that he had his sidearm, and he had an M1 Garand that he came back with, and I believe an MP40. I think it was a MP40 or a Car 98 that he had gotten off of a Nazi he killed. And sometimes, from what my Uncle Den has told me personally, and from what my father has told me that he's heard, he would just get out of his fucking, he would wake up 3, 4 o'clock in the morning. Fuck it. It could be cold. It could be the middle of winter. It could be it could be the middle of fucking summer. He would wake up around 3 o'clock, 4 in the morning, just a random fucking day. He would have made plans. He had plans or something like that with family, like he was going to go out for brunch or he was going to come over and have dinner. He would just get up at 3, 4 o'clock in the morning, pack his shit, whatever he needed, pack his weapons, his M1 Garand and his fucking pistol, throw it onto the motorcycle, and gone. He'd be gone for 2 months. And he'd come back, and when people are like, "Where the fuck have you been?" he wouldn't say a fucking thing about it. Nobody knew where he went. Nobody knew what he did, and nobody really started asking. Like, everybody stopped asking. But he was never the same after that. I don't know if anybody in my family fought in Vietnam. Probably on my grandfather's side, just like relative cousins I've never met. And yeah. Korea is personally the most recent war that I know that, like, I actually know family that served in. But yeah. Also, to answer your question, Dan, a lot of people call me a bum. Apparently, one of her ancestors was on one of the islands that flipped back and forth between France and England, and had an in with the French king. I know my grandfather was in the sub-service in World War II. No idea about my nana's side. There are too many to even know. I know my Uncle Tony was there as a dentist, apparently, like, insanely close to the front. Wow. Vietnam. Damn. Props to him. Oh, Christ. What? There was something. Oh. There was a Vietnam memorial that was vandalized. I don't know where in the country, but I think it was a New England. I think it was a New England Vietnam memorial. That pissed me off when I heard that on the fucking radio. Like, Dragon's Nest. That's a badass fucking call name. I had a friend in high school. His name was Joe. Now, Joe was a junior. No, Joe was a senior. That's right. Joe was a senior. Now, Joe had been a senior for 2-3 years when I got into school. Well, I was in school from until I was 16. So freshman year, sophomore year, I was just starting junior year. He was still a senior. Now, the reason why he was a senior still was he just didn't give a fuck. He wasn't stupid. Trust me, that motherfucker was smart as a whip, like as sharp as a whip, I should say. But he just didn't care. He didn't care about graduating. It was just all a joke to him, essentially. Wow, that's a lot of fucking shit coming out. Yeah, you guys can't even see it. So I'm just clearing this fucking shit out finally. But his father fought in Vietnam, and I got to hear all about it. His father was a designated sniper for I forgot what team it was, but he was basically a Marine sniper that was sent in, and he was just there to pretty much kill captains, commanders for the Viet Cong and the NBA when he was sent in. I think his tour of duty was 70 to 72 because he got shot, I think, 8 times while trying to. I forget what Joe told me about how his father got out of the. His father didn't actually get out of the service, but he was sent back home. And by the time he had healed up and was ready for action, Vietnam had already ended. But yeah, he would tell me about how his father would be stalking in the bush, and he'd be sitting there with his spotter, and they'd be there for 2 days waiting for the Viet Cong fucking commander that they were pretty much tracking down to pop his fucking head out of the ground, or to come out of the fucking mountain or the hills, and just they fire a fucking 30-06 round right into him. Christ, some of these streets are dedicated to Vietnam fucking vets, and one of the most depressing things I've seen is that a lot of them are in their 20s, early 20s, and that depresses me. Oh wow, my Social Security card has seen a lot better days. I should get a new one. This is the fuck. I got this when I was what? Yeah, I was 18. No. Yeah, I was 18 when I got this. Christ all fucking mighty. Christ almighty. That one does not go there. Also, I still have my Guardians of the Galaxy fucking ticket in my still have my Guardians of the Galaxy movie ticket in my fucking wallet. You go there. And I gotta put my ID in my fucking debit card bag. Ain't this lovely? Ain't this fucking lovely? You guys are watching a stream where I'm cleaning out a wallet. All the unravelings have been insane, man. And then all my fucking family photos. I actually have a little baggie for some of them because they're really small. I'm going to show you a picture of my father. And it's one he is not proud of. If I can get the fucking... Oh, fuck. Well, I ripped the fucking bag. So, out it goes anyways. Fuck it. It's broken. Fuck. Oh, God. There was some water damage. Oh, fuck me. No. Yeah. Peeled off my fucking grandfather's baby picture. Son of a bitch. Son of a bitch. That's a fucking 7. Yeah. Yeah, my grandfather died at 68. Yeah, this picture was taken. You can't see his face now, but that was my grandfather's fucking baby picture for fucking 1937. And then I have a fucking... See, that's the thing I hate about old fucking family photos is they're fucking made of a very faint fucking paper. This is my father from the 5th grade, 1974. Do you see the resemblance a little bit? I apparently look exactly like my father. God, fucking shit all over it. Ay, ay, ay. Then this is my cousin Thias. When he was born. I haven't seen him in years. It's the only picture I have of him, too. So, great. I have my grandfather's picture from his marriage with my grandmother. Doesn't say what year, though. I have the picture. Where is it? I have a picture of my grandmother and grandfather and aunt when they went to Long Island to a picture booth. I don't know why, but my grandfather looks like a little bit of James Dean in him, especially with the hair. But yeah, so great. All those fucking... I'm actually going to just I'm just going to keep them on my desk because I don't want them fucking getting ruined. Don't throw out that. So now my fucking wallet is clean. Time to clean up all the fucking clippings and shit. I got fucking clippings all over my goddamn pants. All my change. Oh, I forgot. I have to order supper. Ay, ay, ay. So much shit. Show that one again. All right. I see. That's how fucking. I always have to constantly fucking. It's so ingrained in my memory to fucking grab it. That's the picture, Dan. There we go. Yeah, that's the one that he kind of looks like James Dean. I have a picture of him when he on his, I think his first date with my grandmother when he came over to her house. I have a picture of it, and it's a big fucker too. So let me grab that. This one's hanging up on the closet frame. So first, and this is true love, folks. To George, someone swell always. That's a picture of my grandmother. I think that was when they first started dating. And then the picture, and it's old. Actually, I don't even know how to fucking open it. It's still sitting in the fucking frame, for God's sakes. Yeah. See, I don't want to fucking break. Oh. Pull it from the bottom. If I can get the fucking placard off. There we go. 50s tech, I guess. I don't know. And it doesn't even have a fucking date on it. So let me put this back in. So that's a picture of my grandpappy. He looks like a fucking businessman. You wouldn't even notice the amount of damage that he suffered from an accident when he was in Korea. He didn't even actually he enlisted into Korea, but he never actually saw combat in Korea because of the accident. He served a aircraft carrier. Now, what happened was, oh Christ, they had docked somewhere. I forget if it was in Japan or he was either shipped out, and he was either in Cali, Japan, or South Korea, but they were docked for a few days. He went out to a bar or to get a drink or something, and he was struck by a car, and it was the driver's fault, and that he was dragged. I think I forget how far he was dragged, but for the rest of his life, the whole hang on, I got a picture of him right there. I think a whole right side of his face had pits in it from the gravel. So he always had like scarred up right side of his face, and his right hip or his right leg was shorter than his left leg because of his hip and because of the damage done to his leg. So he had a prosthetic pad put into so he could, walk leveled. But he bebopped around for a while. He worked at a mental institution as a security guard or as a doctor. Basically, he was an orderly. He did that for decades, and then he retired. So I miss him. Like, I don't know. So let me order up my food because I'm probably gonna fucking miss out on D'Angelo's, please. Gonna have myself some steak teriyaki subs because it is Thursday. I always order from you guys Thursdays. Let's see. I gotta write down my hours for today. Yes. Set up delivery. Open up Steam because I don't know what's. I think it's Off-World Trading is getting installed. Order online. D'Angelo's. You're a game bitch. Ay. Yeah, I can't. I'm going to have to talk to Sten about that lead page. Also, have you guys seen a picture of Byron lately? I'm not sure if either of you have. You will be amazed at what Byron looks like now. It's insane.